The game is about to start, everybody. And Fnatic, they ban out Cho'Gall immediately. Not a troll pick by any means. Cho'Gall has seen a couple of changes, and even before the changes, he was played by certain teams. But now we have just recently seen a lot more Cho'Gall play. So Fnatic, they don't want to deal with him. They're saying just like immediately at the start of the draft, okay, let's get him out of the picture. Li-Ming banned by Google, and well, Fnatic could go into that Rhaegar as their first pick, of course, which we still expect. But then Dragonshire is a map where other heroes are very, very dominant as well. Zagara, Falstad, Thrall, like all of those are incredibly powerful. There's of course a couple of additional choices that you can make if you are looking for certain combos that you can try and draft, but especially on Dragonshire, having a Zagara is helping your team usually a lot. That Falstad can help with his mobility, just flying from lane to lane as well, and it's something that the teams have really been prioritizing quite a bit. Google, then again, we've seen already earlier a lot of combos with Thrall with, for example, the Diablo. They actually forego Zagara for now and have a Thrall that they can just like pitch against Zagara. With that Chain Lightning build, he can be very annoying to deal with as well. But Fnatic already running this with the Rhaegar here, so they have to also like think a little bit about what they are going to ban out next. Because Google, they have shown play with Thrall and Diablo, so we might see a ban on Diablo as well. Fnatic, first of all, we know that they love Greymane. They could lock him down. They have him already selected. Makes sense for them to go for Muradin as their frontliner. Still a very powerful hero here. But Greymane, Quarknix, I mean, he's been playing that hero in nearly every single game that Fnatic has been chosen to play so far. If it's just one of the reasons why we even sometimes see target bans against Greymane when Fnatic is playing, and once again they lock him down, so we're going to see some Worgen power for them. For Google, when they try to ban someone out, it depends a bit on if they want to pick Tassadar themselves. They could ban Tassadar out if they don't feel like using him, since Tassadar combos very well with Rhaegar and would allow Fnatic to go either into a Sonya or they could go into an Illidan to really round things up a little bit and would have massive support then. There's of course a lot of things that Fnatic could do. I mean, a Jaina would really work with that setup as well. Muradin, Stormbolt into Jaina damage, and apparently Google agrees with that sentiment, decides against banning out a Tassadar, again banning out like maybe even that Sonya. And there's the Diablo ban that we've already been talking about. The combo with Thrall Diablo is just incredibly strong. Fnatic seems to be looking at the Diablo ban for now, and they lock it down. So for Google, I would rather expect them to go maybe into that Tassadar that I've been talking about. It's one of the choices that they have. There's a few others, of course, as well. It's still very early in the draft for them, so a Tassadar would work. It would also deny Tassadar to Rhaegar. If Fnatic has access to Tassadar, it opens up more options for them. They don't have to use him. They don't have to go into a melee assassin or a Sonya here, but they have definitely a couple of options now if Tassadar is not taken. And Google, they decide, doesn't really surprise me here, to go into a Tassadar and they combo the ETC off with Thrall since they don't have access to Diablo. So for Fnatic, my personal question is Sonya, yes or no? I would run with her. Muradin, I love a Muradin and Sonya combo. I think it's very strong. With the Rhaegar, it's even more powerful because of the lightning shield. So I feel they could go into the Sonya right now and could add a second damage dealer next to Greymane without any trouble whatsoever. Falstad is already taken, so he's not really ready for them anymore. There's still a couple of other heroes. Zagara, for example, is still on the board. They could have gone into Avala, but Zagara gives them lane pressure and vision, so that works. With Greymane as one of the main damage healers is a very nice setup that they have. It's of course a matter of playstyle as well now at this point, but lane presence and vision on the map for map control, that's really where Zagara excels. And against the setup that is being used by Google, she should be able to really bring that to the table. Then again, Tassadar can of course like detect the creep tumors. That can sometimes be a little bit of a nuisance, but I highly doubt that we are going to see mental acuity chosen on level 4, so most likely it's still going to be the leeching plasma, and then the cooldown with 30 seconds on the Oracle is going to be like long enough, so Zagara is not going to have to fear too much for that. There are a few options for Fnatic if they don't want to go into the Zagara, as I mentioned before. They played Murky a couple of times and they do it again. Interesting, the last time it was actually a split push comp for them, and they do it once more. Fnatic for the second time this week with a Murky pick. The last time on Sky Temple they went into a split push strategy where they used Murky to pressure one side of the map, and then we had on the other hand Zagara trying to push with the rest of the team, and they go for it again. They use that Zagara. I was already like wondering if they would do a completely different strategy right now, but the Zagara is taken again, so they can claim exactly the same position once more. Murky on one side of the map, Zagara at the other, and try to just like pressure the opponent, push these lanes back, get the wave clear in. Fnatic does it again. The Murky game that we just had is not the only one. They go for a second Murky game right now, and I'm a happy panda already. It's time for the Murlocs, baby. And how does Google react to that? I mean, Google, they are currently looking at this. They don't have a cleanse on Tassadar. That's the next problem. So Google is now suddenly in the position where I have to think about how they are going to run this. Second support for cleanse? Can you then really deal with like that push, or do you go into something else? So if they really want that cleanse against the Octograb, then they need to throw a second support in right now. That could lead us into a Charism, for example. But Google has to do something against this. Of course, a hero that you could use is somebody with seasoned marksman stacks if you really want to try and capitalize on Murky's deaths, or at least like, yeah, well, gathering power, probably not so much. Seasoned marksman stacks, you could play Thrall on him. You have Fawcett on this case as well. So those two heroes could really just like profit a bit of Murky's deaths here. And it is a Tyrande that they use right now. Interesting choice here. Google with the Tassadar and Tyrande position. Double support. That helps a lot, of course. But it still does not help them too much against that Octograb. Guys, Dragonshire is going to be game number 1. Get everybody ready because this is going to be another Murloc game. We are good to go. It's time for the Murlocs, baby. Let's jump into game number 1 between Fnatic and Google here at the end of the Storm Europe Finals. Game number 1, and it's again time for your friendly neighborhood Murky. Fnatic in the losers bracket going up against Google now, and we have to the left side of the map, we have Breeze for Fnatic on Muradin. I really like him on this role. We have Ethereal Angel on Murky, Schwimpy on Zagara. So again, it seems like that split push strategy that Fnatic already showcased against TCM is going to come into play once more. Greymane played by who else than Quarknix and Smexy on Rhaegar. For Google on the right side of the map, we are seeing currently Styr running Thrall. We're seeing Andilendi on Tassadar. We have Unstable on Tyrande. We're seeing Sphyxy on Svolstad and Stalk on ETC. So time for your friendly Murky once again, and I am very curious. I mean, Block again chosen as the level 1 talent here, so survivability is absolutely key for Murky right now. We're seeing the cooldown reduction build for Sphyxy with this Svolstad going into Empower on level 1. 1 season marksman taken, so Fawcett, like in theory, is one of the heroes that can capitalize a lot on the Murky deaths if he really forces them down. We're having Rhaegar with the electric charge taken on level 1. Very annoying, that combo actually with Rhaegar plus Murky, can be quite a nuisance. But Zagara is at the bottom of the map. So the last time that Fnatic played with Murky, the whole idea was really to have Murky on one lane and Zagara on the other. So it was always like pressure from both sides. Thrall actually taken out up at the top. Ethereal Angel is there. Fawcett flying in, so they're not losing too much experience, but they lost a couple of minion points here. We have Ethereal Angel, Murky riding the Vulture here. I'm not quite sure why, but that somehow feels wrong. I can't even tell you why. It's a nice color coordination, I have to admit, though. So we have currently Breeze on his Muradin. I like him on this role much more than on his ETC. The ETC games of Fnatic in the recent past have not really convinced me too much. Like it was... They were quite strong on that. They like their ETC, but I feel like they're much stronger with a good Muradin in the game. So for now, we're actually seeing Murky up at the top lane going up against Thrall here. And Styr, as I said before, does not have Seasoned Marksman. He actually runs this with the normal Chain Lightning build. And Ethereal has to be careful because of it, and is already moving in. My personal opinion, one of the big troubles is really going to be that Octograb and potential lockdowns. The last time that Fnatic played this combo, they were more interested in split pushing than going for team fights, but they always have the potential to do that, especially with Quarknix on Greymane for the damage, with that lockdown on Muradin that they have with the Reverberation build and that Rhaegar. Wow! Tassadar down immediately. He didn't stand a chance there. That's an early level 4 and potentially a Dragonite actually. Sphyxy is getting locked down, and yeah, Quarknix is claiming that Dragonite 2 minutes into the game. Great opening here for Fnatic. They're running this with bigger slime now for the slime radius increase on level 4. It's something that we've actually seen them do in that game against TCM as well. And another kill! Tyrande at the bot lane. Wow! What on earth did they feed Fnatic for Breakfast? Whatever it is, I want some too. We have 3 kills against 0, 2.5 minutes in. A Dragonite claimed and more than a level lead at this point. What is this? Quick match? Virtus Pro has shown some great games here today, but so far this early game is not looking good for them. Not at all. That draft that we currently see for Fnatic is really, really helping them. And I mean, these boys, Fnatic plays a very unique style right now. Again, the way that they play and the way that they draft reminds me sometimes a little bit of Na'Vi, who are always willing to experiment with a lot of heroes. But especially, of course, now Quarknix with that solid Greymane once again, it's something that really works for them. Quacknix up in the top lane right now doing his thing. Dragon Knight is over. He went through nearly the entire wall already. The same also in the mid lane. Level 7 already claimed. I mean, this is crazy. Fnatic early on with a massive lead. They have that cleanse on Rhaegar now. We're seeing them with the elixir, with the draft overflow and the perfect aim. So normal cocktail build for Greymane. Murky went into the slime advantage after the bigger slime. Exactly the same build that we've seen the last time. And we have Zagara even with the battle momentum. Big fight here down at the bottom once again. Keep in mind, no level 7 talent for Google. Down goes ETC. And yeah, well, the count is down. So that didn't really help them too much either. They really need their next talent. They need that level 7 talent. This early on, having such a huge advantage over your opponent is absolutely crazy. We're seeing the bot lane being pressured once again, and there comes Shrimpy, Smexy, and Quacknix. They're starting to move in. Murky is doing Murky things up at the top lane, aka pissing Sfixie off on his Falstad. Falstad has to go back, and Ethereal Angel is just saying like, yeah, well, whatever. I'm just going to throw in a couple of more pufferfish eggs. I'm going to drop the slime as well. Pushes the lane back without any problem whatsoever, and is on full HP once more. Smexy already in the mid lane doing more or less the same thing with his lightning shield. Like, they have quite a bit of wave clear here at this point. And then we will see level 7 finally coming into play for Google, but still, like, their situation has not really changed too much. That level 10 is always a threat. And once again, I want to highlight that there is no cleanse. No cleanse against Murky. They decided against picking Karazim and instead went for Tyrande. Tyrande gives them some heals, but I'm not quite sure if they can really survive once those team fights start and we see that Octograb coming into play. Because there's a lot of heroes that can with Octograb really be bursted down quite easily, and especially on Octograb against heroes like Thrall or Falstad would of course be great for them, as the damage dealers would be eliminated very early on. Murky at the top lane, already doing his thing, starting to push this in even more. Shrines are active once again, and just look at the experience lead. I mean, we're nearly having a 2-level advantage right now for Fnatic, and they are currently going for level 10, and once they have that, they should be able to secure another Dragon Knight once again. At the bottom of the map, we are still seeing Smexy and Shrimpy in position of the first shrine. At the top lane, Athero has to deal with that mercenary camp a bit first. That has been taken earlier. Loudspeakers taken. Probably going to be the face smelt on level 13 as the upcoming talent here. And level 10s are going to come in, and the only question is, are they going to be able to get that Dragon Knight, or will Google delay long enough to just deny it? Quacknix jumping in. They try to go for the kill. Murky so far not forcing the shrine at the top lane. Look at that lead. It's 2 levels at level 10. It's crazy. Like, this is, oh my god, I feel so bad for Google right now. Like, how do you come back into this? If you're so far behind, you're just going to lose Dragon Knight after Dragon Knight after Dragon Knight. I mean, Murky taking the shrine, nobody can really move into the middle. The only thing that could happen is maybe like an owl denying it for a bit longer. Andy Lendy is staying there, but yeah, there's nothing. The owl's not there. There's an easy Dragon Knight. There's the Octograb taken, Avatar, more. Go for the throat and also ancestral healing, and this is currently the most painful time that Google will ever have in this game. I can tell you one thing, at this point it's probably only going to be it's going to be uphill from now. There's the Octograb, no cleanse available, and yeah, goodbye Unstable. Down goes Tyrande, absolutely no way to save her. I mean, there's not even a burst heal if you go for Tyrande. Nobody has a burst heal. Unlendy can lend a shield, and that is already about it. So now they go simply for a kill against the fort. Fnatic is just wrecking this game at this point. This isn't even close. Like, Murky at the top lane doing his thing. I'm gonna give you a bit of an update on damage in a moment. We're seeing now Mighty Gust taken. There's of course also the Mosh Pit Sundering. That Mosh Pit Sundering has to be spot on. I mean, this is really like the last straw that they can grasp. If they get good Mosh Pits after Sundering off, then they might be able to get a couple of wombo combos and kills in here. But right now it's a disaster for them. I mean, in damage alone, look at that siege damage. Murky's at 70,000. Greymane himself cannot even keep up with him. And of course, like when it comes to hero damage, there's not really too much to talk about since we only had 5 kills in the game. Zagara with 10k, 14k on Greymane. It's Quacknix all over again. I mean, what do you ban out these days against Fnatic? Murky bans incoming. I can already tell you that much. But still, Greymane is one of those heroes that I personally would probably try to get rid of early on if I play against them, since Quacknix is just like, he is a beast on this hero, and he's picking him like every single chance that he gets. So still looking for that first kill. And I want to highlight just for a moment that Murky didn't die once, right? Like, not once. So not even a Murky kill at this point. Not even that. We're seeing also at the same time now, once again, just like taking another close look at the talents here with level 13. The bubble machine has been started again. We're seeing on the prowl taken. In the mid lane, the potential kill against... Yeah, this time they're going to get their first one. Rhaegar is down. The hero with a cleanse, they could have saved them there. Murky also on the run, but he should be able to get away from this one. Even Stork is not in range. Oh, but there is that stun, and now the follow-up. So the kill against Murky is successful after all. Overall, the situation in the game, 5 kills against 1. We have 2 of the forts eliminated against Google, and we are also seeing now level 13, nearly 14. So it's roughly a 2-level lead at this point still that we are having on their part. Quacknick's now dying too, so slowly and steadily Google making their way back into this. Fnatic have to be careful. It's like always a bit of a risk if you are this dominant in the early game that you start to get a bit like too greedy. In this case, there was just like a couple of picks that we saw on the map itself. But right now, Fnatic, they need to be careful. They're still far ahead, but it's like one of those advantages that you worked for hard in the early game. And if you then lose a couple of heroes in the late game when the death timers are a bit longer, then it's very, very easy to lose that advantage again. So right now, Fnatic, they need to be very cautious. They're taking the first shrine up at the top with Murky. It's level 13 versus 13 now, so it's even talents again. That brings us Overflowing Light. We have also Prescience. Well, we could theoretically even see a spell shield on Thrall, but nope, he goes into the Grace of Air here instead. Goes for the Grace of Air. Murky still fighting with Sphyxie. Will have to move back. Both of the shrines controlled. They try to go for the Dragonite. And where's the Owl? There's the Owl, and they are just barely going to be able to deny it. Yeah, the top shrine actually, like, it would have worked perfectly if not for the Owl. So that Owl was absolute key. And again, pressure play at the bottom. Shrimpy starting to move in with his team to take at least one of these towers down. So you can already tell that they're starting to fall back into that rhythm where they just move through the lanes and take structures down and push the lanes back. So at the top lane, Murky the entire time doing his push thing. Once that he's being met by opposition, once that a couple of heroes are moving in against him, Zagara has more space on the map, space successfully created. So she's starting to move in and tries to go for some counter pressure as well on another lane. And that's more or less the game plan of Fnatic. If they can, of course, like get a kill, they will always jump on it, especially with that Octo Grab. But right now, when Murky has enough space to like deal with the pushes, he's just pushing in the lanes pretty hard. The rest of the team has, of course, to deal with Google. So it's more or less a rotation game that they are playing. Just like trying to split push as much as they can. And they have a lot of heroes that have amazing amount of siege damage. I can just give you another quick glimpse here. 97,000, for example, on Murky alone already, and well, 80,000 on Greymane. Compare that to the siege damage that we're seeing on the side of Google, and you roughly get the picture. I mean, their top siege damage dealer is currently Falsa with 67,000, and that's nowhere nearly close to what we are seeing for Fnatic right now. Again, shrines are taken, and that puts pressure on Google, especially in the mid lane, where we have Stork waiting, but the level 16 talent is going to be ready for every moment now. And that is going to give them a chance. Breeze, it's a bit too late here, and we already had Andy Lendy in position to like cancel the channel. But here comes the rejuvenating bubble now. So we're having a slime focus on level 4 and level 7, and afterwards just bubbles on 13 and 16. Moving back, getting the hit points back up. Already now we're having the Concentrated Blast and the Rising Storm as the extra talents on level 16 that have been taken. Mutalisk into Bureau Expansion, and they push them back again. Murky is on the way to the top. Mid lane positioning against the Dragonite. Here comes Breeze, trying to like stun them out for a moment. Yeah, good cleanse. Very nice cleanse, but not strong enough. Here comes the heal though. And what about Shrimpy? Can they drop Zagara? Doesn't look like it. Stork is actually isolated, and they try to go for the kill. Fawcett is already down. Murky is moving in. Octograb is still ready, by the way, and used to lock down ETC. That's a good kill, and Stür might fall too. They move in and they get the triple kill, and now, of course, as a result, also the Dragonite. Fnatic with fantastic play here. Murky on the Dragonite now is going to start to make his way over to the right side to drop the first keep in the game. Amazing play. Fnatic once again just absolutely rocking it here with their Murky strategy. And now we're seeing the mid lane just completely demolished. 3 heroes are still down. Fawcett is on his way back. He has Mighty Gust ready when he comes back, so he might be able to save them, but that keep is absolutely gonna fall. Has no chance to do anything about that. Rotation down to the bottom, trying to maybe get a few more kills in here. Keep in mind, Murky is in that Dragonite, alright? He doesn't care at all if he dies after he jumps out of the statue. Doesn't care at all about that. So right now they can even go deep with the Dragonite when they feel that they get some benefit out of it. Of course, suiciding him wouldn't really work for them, but still, like, he is not going to have any problem. And there comes the Merc again, and he's like, and it's just like bubbling away. And that's already about it. Stalk gets dodged, and Murky is just like moving back. Another camp already taken, and yeah, the Murloc back to business. Fnatic, they are probably enjoying this quite a bit. 16 is on the other hand soon going to be ready for Google. And I mean, for Google this is a bit of a frustrating moment, but so far they haven't really been able to get a lot out of their potential combos with the Sundering into the mosh pit. If they get a bit more value out of that, maybe even with a Mighty Gust and that slow as a setup, then they might have a chance to really like get a few kills in and start to close that gap in experience. So they're not out of this just yet. It's just a question, how can you attack those? The problem really is though that we have also that Maw always ready, and in this case the Maw is not used as a setup for any kind of like wombo combo, as a setup for any kind of kill. It's more like a disengage tool that can be used by Fnatic at any point when the situation is demanding it. And we've seen something very similar already at the fight at the top. Extra damage now for ETC as well with the Echo Paddle. We're seeing Ranger taking out 2. And I'm still wondering a little bit if Karazim would have maybe been the better option instead of Tyrande here. I mean, Tyrande with the interrupt is quite nice at the Dragon statue. Karazim would have had that cleanse. And of course you give up a fair amount of healing because of it, but you have a Tassadar next to you, so that might work out a bit better. He needs to be close to the target as being octograbbed though, but for those fights it might have been something that they could have been relying upon a little bit more. Murky down at the top lane, zip. But guess what? He's already back. Murky is back to business. And now in terms of damage, give you a bit of an idea. Just look at that siege damage in Murky. 150,000 already. Greymane at 110,000. Murky really pressuring these lanes. And one of those things about like Dragonshy in particular is of course always that pressure, lane control and wave clear is usually allowing you to get easy access to the objective. Like look at the top lane for example. It's so heavily pressured in that now they can easily take the shrine and they have perfect vision on the lane thanks to the minions that are always moving in. They have even more vision thanks to Zagara when she can place those creep tumors down, even though Shrimpy didn't really have the best creep game so far. Like he had some decent creep spread overall, but there's always like Google trying to limit that. Either way, with them pressuring lanes this heavily thanks to Murky, they have always control over at least one shrine. And that allows them to deny Dragonites to their opponent and to threaten Dragonite once they get the second one. And they start jumping in again. They have the level 20. Thrall is down. Octograb once again did his purpose. They Octograbbed Thrall. They took him down. No cleanse available. And now again Breeze jumping in and Stalk. Well, yeah, you can already see where this is heading. Stalk is going to fall here now too. Or is he? That shield could actually save him, but nope. He's down. Muradin moves back. They want to go for the Dragonite, and guess what? They want to finish the game. They have a triple rewind now on Murky, on Muradin, on Rhaegar. They are killing now also, like ETC is down. Everybody's dying here. Murky is also dead, but yeah, he's already on his way back down again. That egg was never even touched. And now Breeze is, of course, trying to finish the game. They're not even going to go for the safe move here and take down another keep. They're just saying, like, guys, at this point with the Dragonite, 16 minutes in and 5 heroes around, we can go for it. So they go for that core, and it's starting to lose hit points rapidly. No chance lands. Nope, this is not looking good. There's another punt, and yeah, this is, of course, going to be the end of it. The GG already called, and a great play here by Fnatic in this first game of the best of 3 series at the end of the Storm Europe finals. We have Fnatic in the lead against Google. GG and well played. Alright everybody, Murky has successfully claimed victory in game number 1 and Fnatic versus Google is heading into game number 2. Battlefield of Eternity is currently going, well, it's the map of course of our next round. Keep in mind Stitches is banned globally. I once again want to highlight that. Li-Ming is allowed. We are in patch 16.2, so we have changes on Li-Ming that removed, for example, S of Johan, which was of course like one of the strongest talents on the hero, but overall she's still very powerful. Poggy, thanks dude. Murky fan probably. And a Thrall ban, plus Rhaegar, the Orc-Hate!
Bubbly bubbly bub, can we see some Murky chibi smiley face?
I have to inform you, unfortunately, Poggy, that you are not the top support of the day. We have actually the TLV because of Genghis Coin. Like, he beat you to it. Sorry, bro. But we've seen some Murky in-game at least, but the Lost Vikings at least here now. Li-Ming is in, boys. We have Li-Ming all of a sudden. She can be played. Poggy, again, big thank you to you. Big shout out. Rhaegar and Thrall have been banned, so apparently Fnatic and Google have a lot of Night Elf players on their roster because they hate Orcs, and we all know how that went in Warcraft 3. But, well, for now we have Li-Ming as the first pick of the game. Fnatic is not afraid of going up against Li-Ming when we're having ETC and Muradin being chosen as the front line. Now again, as I said, with ETC on Fnatic's side, I'm always a little bit cautious, and oftentimes when they play ETC, they have a bit of trouble with that. So for now, actually, things are starting to look pretty decent for them with an ETC and Muradin lock up as a solid like double front line. I don't really like the ETC solo frontliner too much because I feel like they put too much pressure on it, or like ETC was, at least in the games that I observed, never really able to make anything happen in terms of like getting the mosh pits in and really dominating as much as he wants to. With a double front line, it's a very, very set front line already. Interesting, in my opinion, is that they did not pick the Greymane yet, because Greymane could be banned out now by Google or picked away, even if Google is trying to use that hero. For Li-Ming, of course, they have to make sure that they at least like get someone at the front line that is helping there to create space for her. That might be one of the reasons why Fnatic is focusing on their front line this hard right now, because they're trying to just like take the front line support, so to say, away from the opponent. I could see a Johanna taken for Google, for example. They seem to be trying to start with a Zagara here. But Li-Ming, as already been talked about earlier, like what she really needs is a bit of a setup these days that you can lock a target down so that she can get the entire damage in. With S of Johann being removed, it's really one of the most important things here. Tassadar currently picked as the first hero. Now, I personally believe that you need a double support with that, so it's likely that we're going to see a second support for Google. Li-Ming is still a bit on the squishy side, and even though she can dish out a lot of damage, if you jump on her, she's in trouble. As I said, I would have liked that Johanna. Google, they agree with that sentiment. Johanna would most likely have been banned out by Fnatic if not chosen now. So Google forced into that early pick on her, which of course allows Fnatic to limit Google's options a little bit more in other parts. They could ban out extra support. Personally, I wouldn't really be too afraid of like a Tassadar and Tyrande composition with the setup that is being played here. Fnatic, they are, I suppose, likely to pick a Karazim. I don't really know yet what they are going to get in terms of like the rest of their setup, so they could decide to ban out support, but they ban out auto attack damage instead. Google, they go for a ban on Jaina. It's of course very threatening if you have the Mosh Pit, if you have the Power Slide and the Storm Bolt as like stuns for a Jaina setup. But Fnatic overall could even go into a Sonya. If they want to play a full front line, they could go Sonya Karazim and really just like try to overrun Google. With the aggression that you have with that, that's definitely possible, even though on this map, of course, oftentimes you see players relying a little bit more on the AoE damage. That Greymane still locked in. It's actually kind of cool how Fnatic is able to sneak that Greymane in every single time, because Jaina is, of course, very threatening right now with that ETC Muradin, as I already said. But normally against Fnatic, you would like to ban out Greymane, because, well, Quacknix is playing that hero every single time that he can, and he is trying to use that. So at this point, it's really interesting for me to see that. Are they locking him down? Yeah, they do. It's really interesting for me to see that Fnatic got that through again. Vision on the map once more for them. Okay, so they seem to try going for Zagara here. Not real particular hero that is a counter to Li-Ming in the sense that they said, okay, we play this particular like setup to put Li-Ming under pressure. For example, one hero that can be very strong against Li-Ming, also against like other heroes, is like the new Chen with that bug fix on the flying kick. If you have the level 16 talent, you can just like jump into Li-Ming's face like 6 days a Sunday. It's like it's incredible. It's crazy. She can't really do any damage to the rest of the team because she has to be so focused on staying alive against Chen. They can make that happen. We've seen that occasionally, that Chen is being picked now once again, but I could really see in certain compositions him being picked a little bit more often even, especially of course against Zagara, but we've been all going over this already. Against Zagara, he's a very great lane bully that can counteract her a little bit. Google going into a Lunara here for extra damage, okay, but I still feel a second support would be a wise decision. And yeah, Fnatic hasn't taken a support yet either. So if you go into second supports, then even a Karazim would work, but you could still go into that Tyrande. They go for a Sonya. Wow, all of that with the Tassadar alone. Okay, they want to run that Sonya here. Then they have Johanna, Sonya at the front, and they have two very, very squishy damage dealers in the back. So if ETC and Muradin are getting close to that, that would really work out for them. Fnatic likely to go for Charism here. But yeah, Google with a lot of aggression, a lot of damage potentially, of course, now too. I mean, Lunara and Li-Ming are two of the best damage dealers that we have in the game. But with Tacita only as a support, they need to be super careful that they're not taken out here. And that more into mosh pit is, of course, a huge danger now as well. Charism locked down. Fnatic leads with the 1-0. And guys, I guess we're going to jump in to find out if Google can turn things around here. Battlefield of Eternity is their map choice. So let's see if they can make it happen or if Fnatic is going to take it. Actually, like, now that I look at it, I was talking a bit about Infernal Shrines earlier, even being deceived by the picture here for a second. It's Battlefield of Eternity, of course, over Infernal Shrines. Doesn't really change too much. It explains a little bit why we don't see like more AoE focus, but then again we have Greymane, we have Zagara, so we still have like quite a bit of AoE for both of the teams. Nothing really like in particular for the map here itself. Yeah, the setup, the map choice didn't really change anything for the draft here, but my apologies still for like mixing that up a bit earlier. I think I've said Infernal Shrines, I'm not quite sure. Fnatic versus Google, guys, we're going to jump in. Game number 2 is going to happen right now. Let's see which team is going to take it. Game number 2, everybody, is just starting up, and well, as you can see, we have our game between Fnatic and between a good old Google Google looking for an umbrella. Game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity, and to the left side of the map after the last Murky game that we just saw, we have Fnatic with Breeze on ETC, Aethero Angel on Muradin. So Gragnix again on Greymane, he basically has a subscription on this hero. Smexy on Charism this time, and Zagara played by Schwimpy for map control and vision. To the right side of the map, Google, of course, they have to win 2 in a row now if they want to advance. If they lose here, then they are out of the tournament. Styr on Sonya, Sphyxi on Lunara, Andilendi on Li-Ming, Stalk on Johanna, and Unstable is playing Tacita. We have seen Li-Ming already once today. The last patch, of course, has nerfed her a bit. We still see Astral Presence taken, so that was also one of the talents that has been changed by Blizzard. It's now a lot less powerful than it was before. Big pressure play at the top, actually, with 4 heroes that we see there. The same is also happening down to the bottom of the map, but I feel like with the setup that we are seeing here, we could actually see Fnatic being a bit faster. Then again, Li-Ming, of course, is absolutely amazing when it comes to tower pressure, as you can see here. Structures in the early game are oftentimes blown to pieces by her. In this case, though, Fnatic is slightly faster. They don't stop at the towers. They go for that fort, and also Virtus.pro is doing the same thing. Both of the teams are saying, like, screw laning. Let's go for it right away, but a much better position here for Fnatic. They eliminate the fort, they do an incredible job here early on, and now they can move down to the bottom of the map to meet that onslaught that so far Aethero Angel had to deal with on his own. As we said, level 1 natural perspective has been taken, so a little bit of a different style that we see from My Insanity, who love to play the hero, and also from, of course, Na'Vi. Bit of a different talent here for Sphyxi on level 1, but level 1 you have a lot of choices that are absolutely viable on Lunara. We're seeing Astral Presence, as I said, like before the patch, before Li-Ming got a bit nerfed, it was like 50% the threshold for the mana increase, now it's 25%. We're seeing, besides that, pretty standard builds here on all of the heroes in the game thus far. But, of course, a good leading experience thanks to that fort drop up at the top lane for Fnatic. And the aggressive pressure play is just continuing at the bottom right now. Not quite to the extent as we saw it before. Unstable, did he just misclick and hit the wall? I think he did, instead of the tower, right? And it's just like burst pressure against the Immortal for now. So Fnatic with the lead here overall, doing very well in this game so far. And that level 4 talent that they just secured for themselves is, of course, helping a lot to just like rush with that dominance in and get that first Immortal, and they are trying to get exactly that. They're also seeing Healing Ward taken, Envenomed Spines, Draft Overflow, and they go for it. And Google is trying to fight this. Even though they're up against the level 4 talent this early in the game, they're just simply saying, guys, we can still make this happen. We have a lot of poke. We can use Li-Ming to poke from a distance. The missiles, and also, of course, if you get that orb in, it is incredible damage. One of the biggest disadvantages for Li-Ming right now is still that she's very squishy. And one of the things, of course, that helped her a lot was As of Johan on level 4, a talent that she doesn't have anymore. So now, what she really needs is a bit of a setup even. Someone to lock a target down, or her just like jumping in when you don't expect her and then dish the damage in. But just her poke in general is incredibly strong. Tacita, on the other hand, like, yeah, he is still very, very squishy if he can't use his prescience here. And of course, we are not on 13 yet, so no chance for him to go for the dimensional shift. no prescience available. We have a level 4 versus level 4, and once again we're seeing Triumvirate taken for Li-Ming now on level 4. So it's pretty much the standard talent that we have seen today, at least so far. The build for her, we will probably see a couple of adjustments over the next few weeks when players are starting to explore different styles with her, but at least for now Triumvirate is again the talent that's taken on the 4th level. Nimble Wisp taken for Lunara. We're seeing the Laws of Hope and the Punisher, or sorry, the Immortal now acclaimed by Fnatic. So Fnatic again, with a lead in the game, they take that early level 6 and they have now an entire level lead over the opponent. And so far the Punisher hasn't even done anything. So once the Punisher is actually starting to move down to the bottom lane, we're going to see them with a little bit more pressure play here as well. And that's going to be the interesting part. If they're able to get more ahead and get maybe level 7 as well, that would be absolutely incredible for them here and give them, of course, a massive lead, especially for the next objective fight. But right now they go through the towers, the Immortal is still alive, starts to drop into melee mode, and Stalk is there. Breeze sees him though, and nice zoning for Breeze. Oh, and they jump on Johanna. That was actually like a very nice positioning of Breeze. A little bit over to the top, they had the Immortal at the front, Breeze to the top, making sure that nobody could jump the squishies, especially Quarknix and Shrimpy. Stalk is incredibly low, and he's down. Nice move. Big dive here, and once again the kill against one of the heroes on the side of Google. It's a 2-0 for Fnatic. And Google, they really need to get their act together now. If they don't start to make a couple of kills, or at least like claim experience, then they are going to run into a situation where they will drop out of the tournament. They are already in the loser bracket. We're currently in the in the second round of the loser bracket. And it's really getting tricky. I mean, this is, at this point, it's the last chance that Google has. If they don't make it happen now, then it's all over for them. Loudspeakers have been claimed on level 7. We're seeing now the Piercing Bolt as well. Fnatic looking very strong here with the Echo of Heaven. And Zagara not really making the choice of either Endless Creep, Battle Momentum, or of course Rapid Incubation. All 3 talents totally viable here. Bot lane, where we see Shrimpy now. He needs to be careful. He's gonna fall, isn't he? They're trying to get a kill instead. And yeah, Li-Ming is dead, but so is Shrimpy. Even the Healing Ward doesn't prevent that. 11-7 talents are now there, and we have the Ferocious Healing taken. They just get a couple of more hit points in and then move back. Zagara still not with the talent, but now we have a level 7 Kala's Embrace. Fixie gets immediately a shield there from from Tassadar. Breeze needs to move back. They were trying to give him another guitar into the face. And now we have Calamity taken as the level 7 talent. So a bit of an adjustment here on Li-Ming's build over what we've seen earlier today in our first best of 3 series. Calamity taken, Illusion is probably going to be the level 13 talent once again. Ethereal Angel is already slithering his way up to the top with his Lunar Festival mount to pressure Andilendi a bit on Li-Ming. But the Immortal is now in play. But look how close we are seeing Fnatic already to level 10. They are on level 9 already. Very unlikely that they're going to head into... Well, actually, like, it's not quite so unlikely. It depends a little bit on the positioning of the Immortal after they're being attacked. They could try to just, like, move a few heroes down to the bottom of the map and close out a few of those waves and make sure that they get level 10. But right now, they could also just attempt to go for a quick burst. But the teams are now on opposite sides, so that makes it a little bit less likely. We're having Zagara immediately moving down to the bottom and Greymane to the top. So Fnatic is indeed trying to get level 10 before they move in for the next fight here. We have now 1 against 3 kills overall in Heroes. Yeah, Stalk and his team are trying to exploit the fact that Fnatic does not have everybody in the middle of the map right now. But Zagara is there immediately again, and they go for a kill against Tassadar. They nearly get it. Smexy moving away. Very, very low though, but he has still that healing ward that is helping them with the Immortal position. 10 is so close for them. They got the kill against Tassadar. They go in again. There's no mosh pit available, but here's the 10 for Breeze. And now, of course, we're seeing Google move away immediately, and that opens up another opportunity to go straight for the Immortal. Oh my god, Breeze is moving in. Good luck, Andilendi, with the blink here. Great move. Great move. They were actually waiting for Li-Ming to move in here. It's a very popular spot for Li-Ming players to actually poke a bit from a safe distance, but yeah, he did not see that coming. We have Haymaker taken, by the way, as the level 10 ability. Now, if you've not really watched a lot of Heroes of the Storm in the last 2 weeks, then that's probably one of those things where you just simply look at the screen, you're like, what the hell is happening here? But it has been a pretty popular talent as of late. Na'Vi has played with it, Fnatic has played with it. If you play a double front line, you can definitely go for Haymaker and the extra damage. It's a bit like the poor man's hook. Jump behind the target, just like Haymaker it away, or Haymaker it into a wall and try to get that kill in. So that's something that they're trying to do. look at that lead in experience. It is out of this world. Like the shields, they might go for the first keep here. Sonya is actually at the bottom of the map because Google is figuring that they are at least, they need level 10. They can't fight without level 10, and they know that they will most likely lose a keep here. So Sonya is trying to drop one of those forts so that they at least have a chance to get into the Auric ability. Here comes the mosh pit though, and Tassadar might fall. Yeah, not quite. He gets away thanks to the shield, but the level 10 ability is now finally there with the Thornwood Vines, with this Disintegrate taken, with the Blessed Shield, Tassadar with a Force Wall, and once again, they're starting to move straight in. Smexy is already going for it. We have once more that Immortal already on point at the core, but they won't be able to finish the game just yet. They move back with a 2-level advantage with the first keep eliminated, giving you a bit of an idea about the damage. Greymane, of course, again in like hero damage is 19,000. Li-Ming at 27k still. So the game is not really going all too well for Google, but still, they are currently looking at 27k on Li-Ming. Very solid damage potential here, of course, on her still, especially if there is a lockdown by someone. That's where the Blessed Shield, of course, is going to come into play as well. And keep Lunara slow in mind, too. Like, that plus Condemn is really something where Li-Ming can capitalize on it. We have her also now in a position where she's going to just, like, get a lot better numbers thanks to this Disintegrate. That alone is already going to be amazing. So once again, top lane is being attacked here, but look at that split push down to the bottom of the map again. Fnatic really likes their split push. It's something that they've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and in this case now, it looks like Zagara might not be able to get too much, but at least they put so much pressure onto those towers that Stork has to move back, and they nearly dropped the first one. So this is actually looking once again very, very solid for them. Again, camps are on the map available. We have down to the bottom a Khaldor camp. We are having also now another camp towards the left side of the map that could be claimed, the Shaman camp here. The level 13 talent drops in time for Fnatic to get a lead once that the Immortal appears on the map. On the Prowl taken again for Greymane, and we're having Relentless, Mutalisk. We're seeing Face Smelt after the loudspeakers on level 7, going into the Face Smelt now, and level 13. Yeah, well, Muradin in this case, most likely. Muradin, first of all, I guess. Oh my god. Yeah, melted away by the Disintegrate. He got disintegrated right there, I mean, quite literally. So, Li-Ming making it work for them. And that is actually like the perfect timing right now. Because that Immortal was just announced as Muradin died. He goes into the extra damage against single targets. If he can jump the backline and attack Li-Ming, that would of course be great for them. The move up to the top, since of course like this lane is being pressured very, very heavily. But still, not really a chance to go into an early level 13. So they will hit level 13 probably while the Immortals are being attacked still. But it should still end up in a lead for Fnatic early on here in that fight. And once again, the teams are starting to move in here. We're having the defense happening at the Immortal, at least for now. Muradin starting to make his way over too. We still have level 12.5 on the side of Google. And Muradin starting to make his way in now as well. He's starting at the top, defending a bit as well. Smexy in position. Breeze waiting for an opportunity to go for the mosh pit. Starts to move in. Pushes them away, slows them down. They go for Sonya. The orb doesn't hit anything yet. But again, the Immortal doing its work, trying to go for that stun. Very low though. They can poke from a distance here, especially with Quacknix and the cocktail build. Shrimpy's doing the same thing. Very low Immortal already on the side of Google. They're in a lot of trouble here at this point, and they know it of course as well. But it's at least the 13 talent versus 13, and after taking the Nature's Culling again over the Wild Vigor, we're seeing the unfair advantage now as the level 13 talent for Lunara. So Lunara's build has been a little bit adjusted. If you look at the different teams that play Lunara, we have very, very different builds for her. In most cases on level 7 so far, we have seen the Wild Vigor taken, and on level 1, Natural Perspective can be claimed, especially Google likes to play that talent, but oftentimes we also see that extra mana reduction that you have against like the Mercenaries, trying to go for a bit more siege power here. The teams at this point with the Glass Cannon taken as the ability on Li-Ming on level 13, so going full on damage at this point. So looking actually quite strong with that. It's really interesting to see all of this with only a Tassadar as a solo support. He can be a great support for the team of course, but it's also running a bit of a risk here, and Li-Ming is literally playing the Glass Cannon in this case. But if she can get the damage out, that would of course be amazing for her. Also against Zagara, now Burning Rage taken as a level 13 talent for Johanna, making sure that you get those creep tumors out. Still the poke from a distance, a little bit too far out on Yolandi here, but getting the damage in for sure. And we have a camp pushing the bot lane right now. And that was actually a very smart move by Fnatic. They rotated Quacknix down, they got the camp, so they were in a position where they say, hey, we can defend this, we can like stall, we get the camp, and they have to move back. Look at Ethereal. He wants to Haymaker Li-Ming. He wants to go in, or Lunara, go in and take one of the two down. They know, of course, that there's always like those squishies. The front line is strong. Here comes the attack. Ethereal is on his way. Shrimpy is there. Stormbolt misses Andilendi. Great teleport here. Great jump away. Really well done. But again, the pressure play here. Same talents for the two teams. And ETC is rather low. Here comes the disintegrate on Li-Ming, getting the damage in, but it's not enough. And of course, again, we are seeing them drop the healing ward right after that on the Immortal to make sure that they can sustain this dance a little bit longer. Both of the teams going again for the Immortal. Breeze has to be careful. The stun circles appearing in a really uncomfortable time for him. Was very far out there, but they couldn't jump on him. Heroic abilities are still all up. Both teams just positioning themselves, waiting for an opportunity. The tanks always at the side, trying to flank, but Google is rather low on their heroes. They have to be careful. They try to go for the kill against Greymane. Quacknix gets away. Ethereal needs to be careful. No heroics used for Fnatic. Now they're starting to move in. Haymaker against Styr. They're trying to go for the kill. Here comes the Maw, the damage. Tassadark is getting away and escapes for now, but everybody is so low, and even the core is being pressured now, that we see again Fnatic with enough force in the middle of the map to go for that Punisher. Stun against Zagara, interesting, no move from Shrimpy here. Bot lane, Quacknix trying to pressure this a bit more to open up the keep here for them. And they get, of course, that Immortal quite easily right now. So they get Immortal number, I think it's number 3 for them at this point. And with this one, they should be able to drop the second keep of the game. Already positioning themselves at the bottom. Quacknix is being healed here. The last fight was actually really interesting that we don't see a single kill. In kills overall, by the way, it's 5 kills against 2. When you're looking at like the overall damage, Li-Ming is currently at 40,000, doubling the damage of Lunara and Sonya. And we're having still Greymane at 35k as well. So Greymane and Li-Ming in this game, the top damage dealers against heroes, doing a very solid job. Here comes the Disintegrate again, trying to melt that Immortal and also the heroes behind it away. But Immortal is going straight for the keep right now, and Fnatic is already on the point. They are looking for a chance to drop that mosh pit once again. If they get that opportunity, then they will be there. They're darting in as is. 6 seconds also on the Maw that could help as well. Down goes the keep. The only question is, can they go for core, yes or no? They have the level 16 talents right now. And again, we're seeing the cocktail being completed with the concentrated blast. Here comes ETC. They're moving in. The kill against Johanna. The Immortal still on it. And nice. The mosh pit. And Haymaker potentially. Yes, there it is. Sphyxy is getting Haymaker. Stork calls the GG already. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is game. Great play. And a 2-0 victory for Fnatic against Google. They advance to the next round of the tournament here in the loser bracket. Incredibly well played. Congratulations to Fnatic.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on KhaldorTV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to KhaldorTV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.